Hi, I'm Mandi Pryor, and welcome to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Spotlight on Pittsburgh is a program about Pittsburgh's most fascinating people and what they do to make our city an amazing place to live and work. When we come back, I'll introduce you to Kym Gable, who not only heads the Inspired Women South chapter held here in Washington, PA, but is also an anchor and reporter for local news station KDKA. Later in the show, we'll introduce you to Pittsburgh pop legend Jordan York. See you when we come back. Hi, and welcome back to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Kym, thank you so much for joining me on here today.
Mandi, thanks so much for having me.
It is such wonderful. An honor to have somebody who, knows this game a lot better than I do being on the news. So
not used to being in this seat. I'm used to being in your seat, but this is wonderful. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. So you're doing a lot for the community outside of even what you do for the news. So I wanted to make sure that we talk to you a little bit about it and learn more about inspired women and vision and voice and everything that you're doing right now. So I guess we'll start with how you got into news and how you've segued into what you're doing today.
Yeah, so performance has always been a thing in my life. I mean, even when I was a little girl, I was a dancer, a singer. I did a lot of stage performing, and that just really kind of easily transitioned into a broadcast career, in my adult years. So. And I just love telling stories. I love being a storyteller. I think everyone has a story to tell. And, through my career, I've met some incredible people, incredible organizations doing amazing things. And, and it's been 25 years since I started in TV news, and I'm a very emotional person. So, when we go out there and cover stories, we're usually meeting people and interviewing people, usually at their most triumphant moments or at their most tragic, unfortunately. And I always had wished that there was a way that I could tell their stories in a more, lengthy, impactful way, or perhaps help these people or help these organizations, individuals raise awareness about what they're doing and what the needs are in our community, because there's so much. And Pittsburgh is such a giving community and a giving city. So you have all of this need and you have all of these people willing to give. So how do you get their stories out there? So I was introduced less than 2 years ago to the existing Inspired Women Paying It Forward. There was one chapter in the North Hills. It started in the North with Deborah Dion-Krishke. She runs an amazing organization. A friend said, hey, you got to come and check this out. This is different. This is a different kind of networking. And there is a networking component to it too. But I went and I said, well, this is incredible. It's collective giving, collective impact. $400 a year is what you pledge. So we meet quarterly, and you write out a check for $100 to whatever nonprofit organization does their pitch and wins the collective vote of all of the women who are members. So I saw that in action, and I said to myself, well, this is very cool. And at the end, Deborah actually said, hey, we're starting I would love to start a branch in the South Hills. If anyone wants to help out with that, we're going to meet afterwards and talk about it. Well, I left that, you know how I am.
Yeah.
I left that meeting running the new branch here in the South Hills. So now we actually have
to take it on.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to help. But then I said, this is something I could do because the template was already in place. There was a system already there. It's very systematic. She has it down. Nice. And so it's sort of like opening your own McDonald's franchise or something, right? It was already there. So not to say that it's not challenging. It is challenging. There's, there's some, I don't want to say bureaucracy, but there's a lot of follow up, a lot of making sure that these organizations are recognized and getting them there and attracting them there to tell their story. So now we have it down. So that was the hard part in the beginning, but now it's a system that works. And oh my gosh, Mandi, the stories that we hear, and you're familiar with a lot of these women who run these organizations, to be able to just to have that platform to raise awareness, because these are smaller organizations that might not necessarily have the huge funding pools and
the big draw and the marketing and
So we give them that, and there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of smiles, and then what has happened is a lot of these organizations are working with each other because they find some sort of synergy or some sort of component that I can help you with this, you help me with this, and just to see that in action.
More awareness post-event.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So
and
it's been amazing.
And you only meet quarterly? Is it quarterly?
Quarterly, 4 times a year. So, we always say that's less than your manicure pedicure, ladies, if you're doing if you do that. But yeah, $100 a quarter, and it's tax deductible, goes directly to that organization. So first it was
really
checks,
nice.
and now we're into the
bringing
21st
it
century
online.
now. We're gonna do some swipes. So yeah, we're working on that as well.
Well, and I think especially you would know that as women, we're always out networking. We're talking, we're networking,
Yep.
and we only have so much time. So meeting quarterly is kind of like, you don't feel obligated to have to be somewhere every week, every month, it's like, oh yeah, that's really important. I'll put that here. I'll put it on my calendar, and I know those are the 4 times a year I need to actually be somewhere. Instead of, we're inundated so much with different stuff and
Right.
events and things. We never know what to go to. So.
Yeah, I know. And I always say, don't stop doing what you're doing. I just made 2 baskets this week for a Chinese auction for charity. So we're still doing what we're doing. But yeah, this gives people that predictability. They know they're going to be there for an hour. And of course, there's networking before and after. But the actual meeting is 1 hour. We are in and out from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And then those organizations know in 1 hour, they have the potential to raise $6,000, $6,500, because usually that's what the membership hovers around. If we have 65 women, that organization is going to get about $6,500.
Which can do a lot for a smaller organization.
Absolutely. And then if you don't win, you come back and pitch, the next time. So we do, we alternate local, international. So we have a component for our local 501c3s to come in and pitch, and then our actual July meeting is for national and international. So it has a global component as well.
So the charities involved are international or national, or is that?
Right. So our last one, for example, was our local meeting, which was in April. So those are Pittsburgh-based metro area 501c3s. And then in July, so every other quarter, 501c3s, nonprofits who have a national or international outreach. They can still be based here in Pittsburgh, and most of them, of course, are. But maybe their outreach is broader, and they're reaching out to people across the United States or potentially across the world too.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really important to Deborah, that it have that global component. So we serve, people, we're making an impact globally too, not just here in Pittsburgh, which
and
is
all
important.
in our back door here at, in Peters Township. So.
I know. Yes. Yeah, we meet at the Hyatt, which is great. We have a great relationship.
And how long have you been? Are you considered the director of the group, or?
So chapter leader is kind of how
leader.
and there's one in Westmoreland County too. And so this is something, again, if you want to talk about it in terms of a franchise. We're in the South, the North, and the West now. We have some people interested, the East. We have some people interested in the West, in the airport area as well. And so we encourage those people, if you want to maybe spearhead one of your own in your community, to come and check us out. And it really is, it's a process, it's a system, and it's really one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done. And we're all volunteers. We're just kind of a conduit. That money doesn't come through us. We just give it directly to those 501c3s.
And you never know who's going to leave that day, who's been impacted either by the charity or what the charity is representing, and how it can hit home. So that's really nice. It's not just you're handing over a check. You're learning, and you can help along the way spread awareness about different charities.
And that's what we hear at Mandi a lot, is these women will come and say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that this place existed. I didn't know this outreach was there. And then they're able to perhaps volunteer for them or raise awareness for them. So it's not just about the money, it's about them having a voice.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of voice,
yes,
you also are doing something called Vision and Voice. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm working part-time now at KDKA. I'm still in the mainstream media, but only a couple of days a week. I noticed that, storytelling, telling your story is such a trend right now. It's sort of a hot button topic, and everyone has a story to tell. And one of the questions I get asked the most is, oh my gosh, it's so easy for you. Like, if only I could present like you, if only I could tell my story like you do, like, how do you do it? So many people ask me that I started saying, well, you know what, maybe I should help businesses, organizations, and individuals tell their story and communicate in a more impactful way. Again, it's about adding value. People want to add value to the world, but sometimes they don't know, they just need to polish their presence a little more.
Or make it more personal.
Yeah. Yeah. And stories need to be personal. So you need that emotion. I talked about the emotions that are shared and the tears that are shed sometimes at the Inspired Women meetings. That's because that story was emotional and made an impact on people. So so I help individuals and businesses tell their story in a more compelling way, again, so they can add value.
So many businesses need that and need that, to be able to grow and understand that businesses are great and businesses are good back and forth, but you want to buy from somebody you know, or you want a product that you know the person, the story, the background, thanks to reality TV, of course.
Yeah. And so I always say, sometimes, a lot of times, before you open up your wallet, you want to open up your heart. You want to share that story with others. So we're buying from people, not things and companies and, material entities.
Not in Pittsburgh. We don't do that.
No,
here.
we don't do that in Pittsburgh. We did a little different in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Well, Kym, we'll bring you back out here in a little bit.
Sure.
So Kym will actually be at the Southwest Communities Chamber of Commerce. We're doing a Demanding Diversity Impactful Women's event next week, and she will be bringing Inspired Women Pittsburgh South as one of the beneficiaries. So if you want to, please come and check out the event, learn more about Inspired Women and how you can help. To find out more about the Inspired Women South chapter, you can also go to inspiredwomen.com. We'll see you soon. And we're back. Jordan, so nice to have you on the show today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So I guess we'll just get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And you've been doing some fun stuff out there, music-wise as well as community-wise. So tell me a little bit about how you got started.
Basically, I got started with this. It all started as a joke. I didn't know how to compose a song. I didn't really have any musical background, rather than listening to my dad's Michael Jackson and Boyz II Men CDs when I was younger.
Hey, those are big CDs.
Yeah, they were. That was the time when CDs were actually in. I still get CDs and support the artists. I'm old school. I'm young, but I have an old soul, I guess, you can say. Good. But it was just funny. My friend came back from school and he didn't have a job or anything. And he's like, look, I have all this equipment, let's start recording. And it kind of happened from there. And then I just started putting my stuff on YouTube. And then I was always, even in high school, real good at, real outgoing and can network. And I wasn't afraid of getting told no. I mean, I still, till this day, you get 1,000 no's and all you need is one yes.
Exactly.
And so I kind of just started, contacting promoters in Pittsburgh and just said, hey, I'd love, and then just started from there. And I've been able to travel, up and down the East Coast, and then it turned into, acting and just, a little bit of everything. But something that means the most to me, I've been able to perform in front of thousands of people, been on TV and did all that, but just being able to, talk to kids and just give back to the community. And I think so many, celebrities, big celebrities, they just lose sight of that. When you're a big celebrity, you go, okay, well, you have to be at this place at this time and you have to shake hands and take pictures, cool. But to me, it just, I want to leave a lasting impression and really, say I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about,
you want to get involved.
I want to get involved. I like, seeing other people happy. And, I'm very fortunate. I come from a great family and have a same group of friends that I had since high school. And so I'm very blessed for that. And I'm very involved in my church also, Grace Life Church in Monroeville. So I'm getting involved in that. And There's a lot going on, but
Can
it's
you
all
tell
good
me,
stuff.
I mean, you've done some community
Yeah.
projects. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Well, in the fall time, I work with United Ways, so they do, I think it's called Game for Goods or whatever, and it's at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, and it's like a whole day of, getting kids active, and they have like, University of Pittsburgh comes down there and a bunch of, games, and we kind of just coordinate them. So I help with the social media and just go and engage with the kids, and it's really cool. United Way is a great thing. I kind of just got involved with it. I went to an event at Heinz Field and then ended up, sitting in on the meetings, and then just through my music, like I always give people a card when I leave and I say, contact me if you have any volunteer opportunities. I'd love to come speak. I'd love to come help out. And just from doing that, I get emails like a couple times a month. Hey, we just recently painted a house and planted a garden for a group home in Verona, and American Eagle was there, so that was pretty cool to do that with them. And I again, it just goes back to like community. I mean, Pittsburgh is people that aren't from Pittsburgh, like they don't understand. Like, my cousins come here from out of town and they're like, man, it's just like, I don't know the word that I'm looking for that Pittsburgh is, but it's just so, I mean, from not obviously the sports and the tradition that Pittsburgh has, but like, it's just like the people. I mean, you go down south and everybody's like, yo, they're coming when they're waiting on your table. They're so happy. But it's like Pittsburgh it has a lasting impression on people. And you can't really explain it until you lived here long enough.
It's very close-knit. I mean, it's just people are
it's
help
blue
each
collar.
other.
And that's the song that I just did to my music. I just got done doing a radio campaign. My song Blue Collar, Jimmy Ross, great guy. He did the song The Raptor with Donnie Iris. This was, I think, in 1969 or the 70s. It was the #1 hit. So I just reached out to him. I met Donnie at a few events, and I was like thinking, like, who can I get on this song? And I reached out to Jimmy, and we're building a friendship, and he's kind of like a mentor to me. And he's been doing, I mean, they're still doing shows. They've been around for 30 plus years, and it's amazing. I mean, everyone is a human being, and everyone has a common goal to just spread positivity and make stuff happen. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life. Like, I don't really have like a set goal of what Jordan York wants to do. I'm going to be making music. I even brushed into helping with some political stuff, and I'm just kind of like an entrepreneur that wants to make a change and is actually passionate about it and doing it for the right reasons. So
That's great. And so how long have you been doing, when did your first song come out?
Probably when I was, I'm 29 now, so I would say probably when I was like 20, but like when I started doing the Pittsburgh theme stuff, like I did the Pittsburgh song, and that's when the media really started to, and then like I dropped an album. I did a song for Turner's, Kurt Angle, and I was fortunate to meet and work with all those guys, so that was pretty cool. Bon Pompiani, I know Kym knows him.
Yeah.
He's really awesome every time I see him. Great guy, and just connecting with so many people. But the Pittsburgh niche is really what the clean cut. Because when I first started, I was, and people get this facade of a rapper has to be negative. When I first started, I was rapping about this and that, but like when I started putting positivity in my music, that's when I was getting commercials on TV and getting featured on the news and that sort of thing. And that's when I kind of was like, okay, like I kind of have a niche here, and this is what I am. And it was so easy for me because I grew up going to Kennywood. I grew up, my mom saying jag off, and stuff like that. So it was like, it wasn't like I was like, that's who I am, whether people like it or not. That's how I was raised. And
you're proud to be from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, you got to embrace it. Like they say we have our own language, so it's like, why not embrace it? Like, there's nothing to be made fun of. Who can say that? Pittsburgh can. So
you have your new song with Donnie Iris that's been
Jimmy Ross.
And Jimmy Ross.
Yeah.
And they can find that on
it's
YouTube,
on iTunes,
everywhere.
Spotify. The Post-Gazette did a write-up on it. That was cool. The Beaver County Times, he's actually from there. So, and like I said, we did a radio campaign for it, and it got played on 80-plus radio stations. Even a Billboard magazine guy, gave his review on it. So that was pretty cool. So it's definitely, it's doing good. And, who knows, maybe we'll end up making another song, and, who knows what what can lead. Like when I do my music, it's kind of like spontaneous. I'm kind of just like, you know, getting a groove. Like there's some months where I'm just like focusing on community stuff, and then I'll spend a whole month, you know, just working on music. So it's really, you know, just about the mood. I kind of just, right now, I'm just, you know, letting things happen. So
good. Well, we're going to play a couple of your clips so everybody can hear it, and then we'll bring you back out in a little bit with Kym.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Need a loaf of bread, better drive the Giant Eagle. Whatever's in your head, you can find at Giant Eagle. It's not hard to spend, losing time at Giant Eagle. Looking for me, find me rolling down the island, Giant Eagle. Need a loaf of bread, better drive the Giant Eagle. Whatever's in your head. In 1918, still here in 2018. Sometimes might find Giant Eagle in my daydreams. Know I'm sharp in there, whether it's hell, snow, rain, sleet, got everything you need. Salines to some pastries, they even help the community.
And we're back with Kym and Jordan. So you guys kind of know each other a little bit, correct?
Yeah, we did. We actually just met, and as I was listening to you interview Jordan, something that struck me, we met at a charity fashion show only about a month ago.
Yeah, that was last month.
And you know, you're a celebrity artist. I'm a journalist. I don't like to call myself a celebrity, but you know, like you said, it would be very easy for us just to have showed up, walked down the runway, and gone home. But I noticed he was connecting with other people, and I always go around and talk to everybody. And that was an event that my family and I do every year. My daughters and my husband, we walk in this charity fashion show that sends 800 children with special needs to Kennywood. So that one event.
Nice.
So again, you know, some people could just show up, do it, go home, but we made the point to connect with one another. And when I found out that what he does goes way beyond just his music,
Sure.
We knew that we would collaborate at some point. And you know, people say
And
that all the
here you
time.
are.
Let's connect, let's collaborate, but we made sure that
I mean,
it
I made
happened.
sure I followed up because, you know, I've watched her on the news, and, you know, I knew who she was, and it was just cool to be in the same room with everyone, and you have to take advantage of that. And
Well, and you both love the people of Pittsburgh, and you both love working with the community. So I think that just unites you, you know, no matter what you're doing, whether you're in news or you're in music.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, collaboration is you know, a word that I think gets tossed around a lot and doesn't really have a meaning to a lot of people. But when you do it and you're true about it and you have a purpose and an intention in mind, I mean, look at the things that you can do when you join forces. You know.
So Kym, when are you going to be a part of his music coming up?
yeah,
Well,
she liked the Giant Eagle. She asked Alexa, and she said her kids were listening to the Giant Eagle. That's actually where I just came from lunch at.
Yeah, so my daughters, you know, they're going to be 15 next week, and you know, they said let's listen to his music. Let's look it up. We didn't have a CD player, even though you gave us a CD. We're like, what are we going to do? And my kids are like, what are we going to do with this? So we went home and we asked Alexa, you know, to play Jordan York music, and the first song that came on was Giant Eagle. We were cracking up. I mean, it's good stuff, but it's Pittsburgh. You know, it's something that you're not going to hear anywhere else.
Well, I say that I lived in South Florida for about 8 years in my 20s, and I worked at pretty much every Steelers bar. There was Kennywood signs. Like, there was never a time when I felt that separated. Like, I had a seat saved on Sundays with pierogies there, brought from home at the bar, because you had to go out to restaurants and bars to watch the game. And it was like I knew, you know, no matter where we go, we're still from Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
it's really nice.
And it really is, like Jordan said, I mean, it's unless you are here and experience it, and you know, you can't just come to the city for a day or two and get that. I mean, you that vibe is.
You can't explain it to anyone either. Like, that's the thing. They're like, well, what makes Pittsburgh so unique? It's like, you just have to come here, go to the Strip on a Sunday. You know, you just got to experience it. I mean, it's a gem. It really is.
Well, thank you both so much for coming on, and
Thanks,
I'm sure Pittsburgh thanks you just as much for being a part of the city as you guys love it. So once again, thank you, and we'll be sure to share all of your information so people can learn more about both of you as well. Thank you, Kym and Jordan, for joining us on this episode of Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and join us again next time when we shine the spotlight on 2 new guests.